Now that we have completed our housekeeping, now it's time to put in some toolpaths so that we can get out to our machine. We're first going to go to our view orientation and go back to top view. In our command manager, we're going to select the tab Mastercam X7 and select 2D toolpaths. These are going to be the only toolpaths that we learn during our CNC router lab. The rest of these icons will be in our metals manufacturing class. So if you'd like to learn that, please take my CNC machining course. The first one we're going to learn is the contour toolpaths. And it's asking for any lines that you need or want to be machined. Since we want all of them, we'll make it simple and go to this sketch icon. That way, when we hover over any of our line, it'll highlight the entire sketch. Select both sketches and check mark. The NC name will more than likely be the same name as your file. And since we saved it already, it should be in there for you. Press check. In our contour machining table, there's one key thing you have to remember. This green check mark should not be touched until the end. Otherwise, you have to go back in and redo it. And I'll show you how to do that as we go along. Toolpath type. Make sure contour is selected as it is. Your tool is going to be an engraving tool bit, not a flat end mill. Go to Select Library Tool, Filter, and None. That will deselect everything here. Go to the Engrave tool and select that. Check mark. And now go to your 1/4 inch 60-degree engrave tool and check mark. This is going to be tool number 1. It has no linear offset and no diameter offset. Your spindle speed will be 10,000. Feed rate will be 40. And plunge rate is half of feed rate, so 20. Select Rapid Retract. In the comment area, please put your name, what this is, and what bit you have. It can be called a V-bit, engraving tool, same thing. You don't have to worry about changing anything in the holder. In the cut parameters, change the compensation type to off. This will make sure that the center of the bit follows the line instead of being on the left or the right side of the line. Let's say at this time you forget and you press check. That doesn't really look right. Go back here to parameters and your window comes back up. No harm done. Go back to where you were. And right now we're in depth cuts. Even though our bit is only going to go down 1/8 of an inch, I want to show you how to do this. Change your max rough step to 1/16 of an inch. This will make sure that you are able to take steps of cuts. If you take too much at one given time, you could ruin your material, the bit, or worse, the machine. On this cutter, you shouldn't take any more than 1/8 of an inch at a time. It's a fairly small cutter, so you need to take off small amounts. But for this one, it's only going to be 1/16, just to show you how. Lead in and lead out, we don't need for this operation. Breakthrough, multipass, and tabs we all do not need. Go down to linking parameters. Select absolute for all of these. This will allow you to speak the same language throughout. Kind of like graphing on a graph paper, just like you did on your drawing. You want to make sure that the machine is speaking the same language with its math. On the depth, we're going to put in a -1/8 of an inch. In our setup, we told our machine, that our material was 3/4 of an inch thick, or 0.75, excuse me. But our zero was the surface of our material. So, in order for it to cut, it has to go below 0, or a negative. Click check mark. Over here it says a red X. That's termed a dirty toolpath. To clean it up, just make sure this folder has a green check mark. Or, for safety's sake, green check mark with the play sign and the cutter with the play sign. We'll clean it up for you. You can now see some yellow lines. Those are transfer lines. Those lines tell you that a tool is moving across the material but not cutting. If you click your middle roller and move your mouse, you can see blue lines. Those lines tell you that some cutting is going to happen here. Now we want to save it to make sure everything stays the same.